Hey, everybody, welcome back to Android App Addicts. This is episode 540 of the show where we talk about Android apps, Android hardware, whatever else happens to cross our minds. My name is Mark. That guy over there, he's who you're really here to see. DoorToDoorGeek, Mr. Steve McLaughlin. Hey, Door, how you doing?
Hey, Mark. And I'll say to everyone, do not forget, if you want to, quote unquote, see us every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, podnutz.com, click on live, click on Android App Addicts. You too can be here. And if you are here, you could get like a double entry into the Google Home mini giveaway that I'm doing right now.
Whoa, a double entry just for showing up?
Anybody who is watching the show live at all this week, go ahead and shoot me an email during the show, aaa@podnutz.com. You will get double entry into the show because
you're really going to milk that $20 Google Home thing, aren't you?
We all have to do our part, Mark. We all have to do our part.
So before we get too far into the show, I want to give a shout out to Richard Querin. Guessing that's the way you say your last name, Richard. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Who is the Patreon sponsor for the show? Richard has been a faithful Patreon sponsor, and we appreciate that so much so. This show is dedicated to you, buddy. Hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, and he's an unbelievably nice guy, and I will say he, to me, is the example of why I now miss Google Plus. I know he still has his blog. I can't remember what it is, but I know I can find it again. And I really should take time to sit down and check it out again. Unbelievably nice guy. I actually believe he's Canadian as well, which might explain his niceness.
Well, that's you're just repeating yourself. Canadian, nice guy.
Right. That's like saying ATM machine. I already said the machine part. Yeah, really nice guy. Always been helpful and always post really good pictures and stuff. But how are you doing, Mark? It's been a whole week. I mean, 2 weeks in a row.
I know. I just want to take a moment to apologize. In this world of everybody gets offended at everything, apologies are important. And to all the guitar players through all the years that I have razzed, I apologize. That is a difficult instrument to learn. I've been taking guitar lessons, trying to learn to play the thing. Been playing the bass guitar for 25 years, and I thought surely some of those skills would transfer over. Not a dang thing. No, I'm sitting here now nursing my blisters that haven't yet become calluses, and I can't even play 4 chords. So guitar players around the world, I'm sorry.
And that's why they make fun of drummers. I'm just saying.
They have machines that can do all that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll ask, how was your week? I'm going to guess the temperature heated up a little bit for you here lately.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, it was in the 90s, like 91, low 90s, which around here is a heat wave. But this week it's been in the mid 80s, which, from where I'm from in Texas, we call that winter. So yeah, it hasn't been so bad. It's been, we have had like a record dry spell. It went almost 20 days without rain, which around here is just unheard of.
Gotcha.
But it's storming right now. So, yin and yang.
Yeah, we had a little bit of crazy storms last week. We went for about a day without power, but for the last at least 5 days, it's been pretty peaceful and quiet, except for my youngest son's mouth, where he has had a bar of soap in it for about a combined 30 minutes in the last week or so. Yeah.
So I may have mentioned that on this show before, but around my house, we call those power words. They're not bad words. It's not wrong to use them. There's nothing inherently evil or sinful about them. They're just power words, and you want to save them for when you have a powerful thing to say, when no other word will do. And if you overuse the power words, they lose their power, and then it just becomes like the word Smurf, right? So there are some people who the F word is like the word Smurf. It's just in every sentence. So I don't punish my kids for using a power word, but we do have discussions about the appropriateness of the word when they let one slip.
Well, to say he's 11. And in class, he turned to the teacher and said, "Shut the Frankenstein up."
Okay, yeah. So that's not about the word so much as it is the thing he did.
Well, right. And that was the thing. To me, it was the intent, the vitriol behind what he said, which really made me upset, because I tell my kids straight up, there is no word that is off limits. It's where you're at and the intent of the word. I tell them all the time, when it's just me and them, You can say anything you want to say, use any language you want to use. There is no holds barred. The quote Hulk Hogan, no holds barred. But when you're in different atmospheres, different places with different people, you must change your speech. And he got a little upset and he didn't. So he paid the price. He was unbelievably sorry before the soap was in his mouth. But I needed to reinforce the fact that this was something that will be not accepted.
Yeah, my 10-year-old and my 14-year-old were fighting recently, which is not unusual for children of that age to do. But this was more violent than normal. And I busted in and said, "What's going on here?" And the 10-year-old said, "She threw a glass of effing water in my face." It's like, okay, as a parent, I'm kind of glad she used the word so appropriately, but also we have to have the discussion about when and where to use a power word.
Yeah, and I'll say, speaking of power words, last week, Six Flags America, I'll say this, we as a family make the mistake of, we always take up too many of the chairs at the water park than we actually need. Because in reality, most of the people are out in the pool most of the time. So realistically, 3 chairs would have been perfectly fine for 6 of us. But we took up 6 chairs, whatever. Okay. My oldest son's stuff was on the furthest chair away, didn't think anything about it. His glasses were on the chair, and next chair down after that, a guy with kids that were obviously not his naturally, is what I'll say. And the kid was easily 13, 14 years old, big kid, started standing on the chairs and basically stepped right on my son's glasses. And the wife says something, I say something. It took like a full 3 seconds for the kid to move. And then I finally said an expletive, "Get off the chair," with an extra little spice in there. And then the guy said to me, "You don't have to cuss." I said, "Well, apparently I do," because he didn't listen. And then he said, "I can't believe that you would cuss around kids." I said, "I cuss around everybody. Everybody cusses around everybody. This is the real world." And, if you hide that kind of thing from a kid, I firmly believe that when he does learn those words, he then goes a little overboard with them. It's just me, maybe.
Yeah. So if it's okay with you, I'd like to start the show tonight with an email.
Oh, yeah.
Because I knew this was coming. We have an audience of smart people. And when you talk to smart people and you are not 100% correct about what you say to smart people, you get corrected. And so I have an email here from Captain Zero, our friend Christian, who had some things to say about my, shall we say, very abbreviated discussion of waves in physics. So he says, "Hey guys, as always, you guys make me think something that isn't as easy as it used to be. Frequencies, audio versus radio. Mark, while you may be able to pitch your voice really high, no matter how high up you go, it will forever and always be sound waves that you produce. These are mechanical in nature and cannot travel through a vacuum, unlike electromagnetic radio waves. It is the electromagnetic waves that are of concern. Your bog standard microwave operates at around 2.4 gigahertz wavelength. This is a high-powered, dirty transmitter, and the Faraday cage, aka oven cavity, contains this radiation and heats the food inside the cavity. There are several fail-safe mechanisms to ensure it does not radiate with the door open. As an advanced ham radio operator who dabbles in microwave transmissions, I can see a concern with the accumulated exposure to this or any radiation. Will we all die 10 minutes after they turn this stuff on? Of course not. But as Dor can attest to, very few people thought that carbohydrates were bad for you 50 years ago. Unfortunately, unlike carbohydrates in food, no individual will be able to avoid this radiation unless they move to an uninhabited part of the world and live by themselves. The new 5G antennas will be everywhere and at a much lower height than the previous 4G system. As you will note, these new higher frequencies have a reduced range because they're easily absorbed by anything in their path. Unfortunately, that includes the human body. Absorbed radiation of this type heats the body tissue and so far does not seem to cause excessive harm, though some of the chaps who were working on the DEW line in the last century and who stood in front of the radar antennas to warm up in the cold may have a different view. So I don't think it's the end of the world, but my dying early so someone can watch Netflix on their phone is also not that appealing. The sky is falling is not an appropriate response, but neither is the sticking our heads in our sand and ignoring the possibilities. On the Huawei debacle, I too think the USA thing will eventually blow over, but the following headline is a tad more concerning to me. BBC News reports that ARM employees have been instructed to halt, quote, all active contracts and support entitlements and any pending engagements with Huawei due to the US trade ban. Comments? So you've got two things in there.
Right.
I'm not going to rebut what you have to say about radio waves. Everything you said there is either physically accurate or emotionally accurate to your state of mind, and so I will not disagree with it.
Well, and to be honest,
in the laws of physics.
And to be honest, that's why I like hams. Hams, let me rephrase that. Experienced, knowledgeable hams, not just people who got the basic license. They have a good base understanding, far superior than the average fella, is what I'll say. Yes, and I did not rebut you when you talked about your voice becoming wait. Yes, I understand the difference between sound waves and
there is no difference.
electro
Wave. If you vibrate fast enough, it becomes light. If you vibrate faster, that there is no difference. A wave is a wave.
Well,
the point is my vocal cords can't vibrate that fast, but a wave is a wave.
Right. Electromagnetic spectrum. I understand how he was saying the difference. There's going to be many of them, but I'll say this. For instance, if you're ever in Baltimore, South Baltimore, getting on 95 right by the old Baltimore Sun building, by the casino, by where the cruise ship is, if you look up, you will literally see a water tower covered in at least 200 mobile antennas. Okay. It's really difficult to get closer than that. Okay. We are an extremely high percentage of water, 70% or whatever. Okay. I think it's actually 90% water. If that water is safe to drink, which I will bet my life on that it is, the likelihood of that same type of radiation in extreme fluffy air quotes damaging us is extremely unlikely. And that's the whole thing. This is about probability. This is not about certainty. This isn't a game. This is the quantum universe that we live in. Certainty is near impossible. We have to go with probabilistic outcomes. And from what we all know, from what the real people know about these real spectrums, these real frequencies, the probability is nothing. Nothing's going to happen. No one's going to get hurt. Maybe 1 out of 10 billion people might develop something that they're already susceptible to because of this type of thing. But now the ARM thing, it already blew over. They already said, never mind, we can work with them because there's a little gotcha. As long as it's less than 25% of this, whatever, they can still do the business. And they literally came out less than 24 hours later and said that they're going to be able to do business with them. This is why, Mark, I'm literally tempted. I'm super tempted to do what I would call like a 2-week news show, which is I only go over news from 2 weeks ago or from some time in the past, just to see, right? Well, just to see how relevant and how accurate stories were presented, because I'm willing to bet a huge amount of them will be literally, I don't want to say clickbait, but the wrong thing emphasized.
Well, I don't even like to use the word without air quotes, but modern journalism, as it is known today, isn't about longevity. The click is all they need. Once you've clicked, they've won. Whether the article even survives a first reading doesn't matter. Is the headline catching and can it click? And that's a little frustrating to me. Even on the major news outlets, not just the bloggers. I mean, the CNNs and the MSNBCs of the world, their online presence is not about journalism. It's about getting you to click the headline.
Right. I do believe real journalists still exist. That's the one caveat I'll give. I do think they do exist, but I don't think they're a large percentage of them at any one website, organization, or whatever. You know what I mean? They're very few and far between, it seems like. And I will give Captain Zero credit. He spelled Huawei correctly. That's not easy.
It's easy. It's Huey. We.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's not
one of
hard at
those.
all.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, sure. Um, 2 like software updates I want to say, but they're actually the same thing over again, which is Google Maps on Android is seeing an update. The first one I've no link for is just it's now going to start to display to you not only the speed limit, but your approximate speed at that point in time. How fast are you driving? Thus, sooner or later, it's going to be helping warn you that you are speeding or severely under the speed limit, is what I'm going to guess.
So if
Um,
they add an audio alert when you're X miles over the speed limit, they will have completely eliminated the need for one of my favorite apps, Velociraptor.
See, I don't know. Google is in a very sensitive predicament right now. So I honestly don't know if they will do that. We have DOJ and the Federal Trade Commission both starting investigations on Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google for all different types of things. So I'm really unsure what kind of things that they are going to do next. I would honestly like them to give me the option of if I'm going X percentage or over the speed limit to give me an audible sound. I'm not the look. A lot of people suffer from a complex. I can't remember what it's called, greater than average complex or whatever. If you were to ask me, am I better than the average driver? No, I'm probably just about average. Am I smarter than the average person? No, I'm probably just about average. Am I better looking than the average? No, I'm maybe a little bit worse than average. I don't think I'm, special at driving or any other technique in the world. So I want these machines in air quotes to help me out whenever they can. Um, the other link here is to me very interesting. It's Google Maps is going to start to have what they call crisis information surfacing in it, which I think is a lot to digest. But the gist of it is if you go to the link in the page, you go about 3/4 of the way down, and they say they're going to let you share your location with loved ones when they are aware that there is a crisis in your local area and you open up Google Maps to try to find some place, they will give you the option to share your location with people in your not circles anymore, but in your contacts list. They're going to ask you, and they're also going to present to you more timely road closures. So if literally roads are closed because of flooding or something, they're going to make that information come to you, and they're going to and there was a third thing that they're going to basically help share crisis information directly with you. So if there's updates that come out from like NOAA or other sources, they'll basically have it come down to your phone almost like an Amber Alert kind of thing if they know you're in that area. This is the trade-off between privacy and anonymity and, dare I say, security. Um, and it's all about intent. That this is the kind of thing that we cannot know ahead of time. What's the intent of Google taking our information besides giving us ads? Are they going to be doing things like this? Literally trying to help people live, trying to help people go the safe route in times of severe flooding or some other tornado or some other sort of circumstance. I keep waiting for my Google Maps when I'm driving home to tell me it's about to rain. I'm about to go into a storm, that kind of thing. Just because every little bit of information you can give somebody in their trek that can help them be safer, I think is a good thing.
Somebody asked me the end of last weekend, is there an app where you can put in your route if you're traveling like across multiple states, and it will give you the weather along that route? And I was like, I'm almost certain we talked about this on Android App Addicts, but I couldn't come up with it. But that's certainly a natural thing that Google would be able to do. And just simply say, hey, in the next 10 minutes, you're going to be driving into some hail. You might want to pull over at a rest stop or something.
Yeah, and to me, it's the kind of thing where if this was 6 years ago, we would have to find an app to do it. But it's the kind of thing where now it could be one of those things Google presents in the next 30 days. Or it might take them 3 years. I don't know. I have not found anything that will give you recognize your GPS coordinates, notice your direction of GPS movement, and then give you notifications on weather based upon that. I don't know of such a beast. If there is one out there, AAA@Podnutz.com. If there isn't one out there, write it and then give us 10% of your profits.
So I want to not have to open Google Maps. I want to have Google Assistant know where I'm going, and estimate based on the fact that I've been on the interstate for the last 20 minutes. I'm probably going to stay on the interstate and say, hey, here's a thing coming up. I don't know why that doesn't already do that. I mean, it already tells me the traffic on the way to work because it knows I go to work every day. And in fact, my routine has recently changed where I go to different places throughout the week. It took it a couple of weeks, but now it's figured that out. And it, in the mornings it says, here's your drive to this new place over here. So why doesn't it do things like, why do I have to have Google Maps open for it to tell me that there's a speed trap ahead? Why can't it just do that?
The speed trap, I have no legitimate answer for. The weather thing, I don't know of Google buying a weather company yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I guess the difference is, now that I'm talking it through, when you have Maps open, you're taking the responsibility for the additional data and battery drain of kind of updating your GPS second by second, whereas the assistant does it every few minutes at most.
Yes, I can tell you this. When I went into Google Maps on my son's phone and I open up Maps and I say share the location, share it with DoorToDoorGeek. When he just has the phone in his pocket and he's going to where he's going to pick up my youngest son, I can see it only updates every 2 to 3 minutes where his location is. So it still could be one of those things that they could silently, in air quotes, pick up and make use of. It just would be slightly less accurate, is what I'll say.
And actually, it's only every couple minutes if it knows you're watching on the map. If I
Right.
track my kids all the time. The first time I open it up, it'll say last check-in was X hours ago.
Yes.
And it says, oh, somebody's looking. I'll update more often.
Yes. And that's one of those things. It's like when you do find your device, it's the Google server pinging the phone saying, hey, wake up. Yeah.
And, Guy in the Tub says that I want to be tracked more and I should try logging into Facebook. I don't mind tracking if I get something out of it. I've been very open about that. Privacy is not a big deal for me in terms of my electronics, because I want them to serve me. I want to use me as a data point to make your services better. I'm all about that.
Well, and let's be honest. Privacy is an illusion. Privacy in the United States of America has not existed for years and years and years. Maybe in Canada, you have more privacy. Something tells me you don't. They just give you the impression that you have more privacy.
I mean, the best way to be private is to be boring.
The best way to be private is to live in the Sahara Desert or someplace where there is no other people, because just walking down the street in America, you're being captured on cameras. You're being captured on devices. All you need is just somebody doing a selfie, instant gram live stream feed Facebook thing for you to go in the background facial recognition software to say, hey, there's a 20% match. That's Stephen McLaughlin. It's definitely possible. It's definitely doable. It definitely happens.
And it doesn't have to be government sponsored. There's at least 10 Ring doorbells in my neighborhood.
No. That's the thing. The government, in typical government fashion, is completely incompetent at it. It's the private companies that do good at it. And did you hear about the video Ring doorbell? There's at least one jurisdiction, I can't remember the state, who are literally subsidizing the price of the video Ring doorbell to try to get more of them in their jurisdiction, because they have an agreement to where they can basically at any point in time turn the camera on and see what's coming out of the camera at any point in time, which is a little, slightly worrisome.
No, that doesn't bother me. That is a public thing. It's the front of my house.
Oh,
that's the public. Doesn't bother me in the least.
It isn't that. It's the fact that you have government employees then having free range access to them.
Yeah, it just makes it easier. Now they don't have to drive and sit on the corner. It doesn't give them any abilities they didn't have before. It just makes it easier.
Oh, it gives them lots of access. It gives them nonstop 24-hour fast forward, rewind then footage remotely without having to pay a warm body to sit there.
Right. just makes it easier. No new abilities, just easier.
Oh, well, trust me, government employees are all about easier. If anything involves work, maybe next week I'll get on that. The next thing that I'm going to just chat about really quick was Google Stadia. It's an Android related thing, is what I'm going to say. And it's because you'll be able to ubiquitously go from phone to tablet, from tablet to Chromebook, from Chromebook to laptop, from laptop to desktop, from desktop to TV, and all around back again, kind of thing. So it is at least Android related. Um, I love the animation that happens when you first go to this store.google.com page. It's just smooth. And now, if they stick with their current plan, I'm pretty confident Stadia is going to be an unbelievably huge, colossal failure in every respect. They want to charge $129 for the pre-order, where you get a controller and you get a glorified Chromecast Ultra, and you get 3 months of service. It's going to be around $10 a month worth of service. Right now, you're only going to get one free game with your monthly subscription fee. Every other game they plan on, you're going to have to pay for separately. So you're going to have to pay $40 to $60 per game, and you have to pay $10 a month for the luxury of being able to go from phone to tablet, tablet to Chromebook, Chromebook to TV, TV to laptop, all that kind of thing. So you have to pay.
That's no different than the Xbox and the Microsoft Live service.
Oh no,
exactly.
No. Both of them give you a certain number of games free every month. Google Stadia said you're only going to get one free game in the beginning, and that's it. You're never getting anything free again.
Now, I've been out of that world for a while. I gave it away, actually. I gave my Xbox away about 7 years ago. But in that time, I had the Xbox service, and I paid $10 a month just to be able to talk to other Xbox people. Right. And I didn't get any free games out of it. I bought Halo, I bought, whatever I needed, and then I paid the monthly service to be able to use that online.
Yeah. Now you get Xbox Arcade as part of if you pay by the year, you get that part of it. They're offering no communication, anything extra. It's literally just you have the privilege of using their controller. If you want to, you don't have to, and just to be able to move from device to device. And you can pay, I believe it is $11 or $12 a month next year, and you'll have 4K content. To me, if I'm going to have to pay $40 to $60 per game, why would I jump ship on my current console? And they need
to be really good.
Well, they're going to need more than just really good. I can see people who only care about the streaming capabilities, people that only care about the community aspects, being drawn towards such a ecosystem, but that's not enough. OnLive has taught us, Microsoft's endeavors have taught us, you need an unbelievable amount of people in order to make this a truly profitable thing. And unless they change something in the game, or, of course, I'm completely wrong, I don't see this being alive next November, is what I'll say.
Yeah, Google can afford to lose a few $100 million. Won't be a big deal.
They can, but I'll say this, they're going to need to invest a lot of money up front on infrastructure, which of course they can, hardware, which they can, and bandwidth, which they do own a metric ton of dark fiber. So as long as they have that all infrastructure ready, if there is a spike where people do enjoy it, then I think they have a possibility of being successful, but I don't see the average gamer going in for this. If it was $125 for the controller, the Chromecast, and a year of the service, and with the service every month I would have 5 or 10 games to pick from, I could see buying it for my kid. It would still be more expensive than a console, but at least I wouldn't have to worry about every couple weeks buying them a game. I'll just tell them, look, next month you're going to get some more games.
Right. Speaking of dark fiber, did we talk on this show about Google just giving up on Google Fiber, pulling out of cities and writing a check for $500 million and saying, here, you patch your own holes in the pavement. We're not even going to do that for you?
Not really, no.
That, I mean, we all knew it was a gamble when they started doing it, but that's a very, well, I started to say it's an un-Google-like thing, but no, if you've Google Wave, Google Plus, that's exactly what they do. They just drop something and walk away. But in this case, they dropped whole cities after having done tons of construction work and tore up the streets and then just walked away and said, it reminded me of like the Wild West guy who shoots up a saloon and then throws a 20 at the bartender and says, sorry about the mess. That's exactly what they did in some of these places. They just, sorry about the mess, flew through my atom as they walked away.
And I'll say I really honestly feel sorry for the people who were like within eyesight of getting fiber, and then Google just walks away, because those people were for months licking their lips, expecting, oh, here comes that fiber, here comes that fiber, here comes that fiber, and then boom, gone. Part of it is I think that they think wireless technology is going to become so advanced we don't need hardwired infrastructure. And here's the thing, I understand their logic behind it. We have hardwired infrastructure because we were among the very first in the world to start to do what we do. Other countries and other continents like Africa, virtually all of their infrastructure is wireless. With all of the rest of the world being so heavily focused on wireless infrastructure, you bet your butt more advancements will be made in a quicker fashion with such infrastructure, because you don't have to dig up earth. The most expensive thing to do in the world of construction of any measure is to move earth. Whether it's just dig a hole down or just to reflatten land or anything, or building a tunnel, aka Elon Musk and his boring company, the most expensive thing in the world is what do you do with the dirt once you start to move it? It's ridiculous.
If you move a mountain, you have to build a mountain somewhere else.
Right. On a new podcast, I'm not going to put a link to the notes to it. It's called Factually. It's by Adam Conover, the guy that at least used to be, I don't know if he still is, hosted a show on True TV. Adam ruins everything. I believe the show is now over. He's now basically strictly moving on doing podcasts. He is a very opinionated fellow who doesn't hide his opinions, is what I will say. So there's the caveat, to be warned. But his new podcast, Factually, he's only had like 2 episodes out. The latest one, there's basically a Elon Musk skeptic was on the show. And that person was the head of the, I believe, Los Angeles transportation for the whole city. And how does he think he's going to do that? She has really experience for decades in the industry, and some of what he says is completely nonsensical. But of course, he's a billionaire, so I guess he can get away with saying that kind of thing.
Before you move on to your next thing, let me read another email.
Okay.
From longtime supporter and contributor Ivor. This is a long email. Settle down, folks. Grab a beverage of choice, but it's worth reading. He says, hey, guys, he's talking about the email we got last week from a listener who called our show a Snower Fest, specifically the show that Door had done a couple of weeks ago about Google I.O. And so it says, hey, guys, first, I was incredulous when I heard Mark read the email from the listener labeling the show as a Snore Fest. However, the more I think about it, the more I think you may have a point. Let me explain. Nudity and car chases. Not once have I seen any full frontal nudity or car chases on the show. I'm sure if you spiced things up a bit and got Door to flex his pecs every so often, that the listener numbers would avalanche out of control. Who doesn't like a good old-fashioned car chase? The phrase empty your tank would take on a whole new meaning if it involves Mark being pursued by police and narrowly missing rustic fruit vendors while doing overly dramatic J-turns. Fantastic! Advertising is exciting too. There's a complete lack of advertising for Birch, Gold, ZipRecruiter, Stamps.com, or any other health supplements whatsoever. All podcast listeners love and cherish advertisements for this stuff. And in fact, if you had a survey of dentists who listen to podcasts, I'm sure 9 out of 10 would say if there's not at least 47 different ads playing during the course of the podcast, they wouldn't bother listening to it. Rampant drug abuse. I've never heard any of the hosts ask anyone if they've tried DMT. We all know that unless you're doing a podcast with a hypodermic needle sticking out of your arm and white powder all over your face, that you're completely out of touch with the kids and you're just a big fat square daddy-o. Semi-famous guest. You have no semi-famous guests. We're all the 1980 sitcom stars who've just come out of the rehab for the 15th time and written a book about their experiences taking DMT and dancing with squirrels. It's a well-known fact that podcasts are really just a platform for washed-up has-beens to schlep their poorly ghost-written novels about how boring they are, and you guys are just swimming against the tide, man. Explosions. Your show suffers from a distinct lack of explosions. How about blowing up an old Android phone every now and then? Or a how-to on hacking a phone and to be the guidance system for a homemade thermonuclear ICBM? That's the sort of thing that will get Patreon subscribers lining up. Dancing girls. Every podcast worth its salt has to have a line of dancing girls. And the more feather fans and bare legs / breasts, the better. Dancing girls and show tunes, of course. I'm sure if you had a live phone in with callers giving their own renditions of top songs from Oklahoma or Cats, you'd have a runaway success on your hands. Just a few small points there I think the show could be improved. If you'd like me to take on a consulting role, and just give me a call and we'll talk numbers. Looking forward to future exciting episodes. Thank you, Ivor. Thank you.
And that's why I like Ivor. Yeah, because what I'll go back and revise what I said previously was we're not supposed to be exciting. We're supposed to be like a logical discussion, just hanging out. And then once in a while we crack a joke at each other. I mean, that was the whole thing when Podnutz first began. We dreamt like it's a open garage where people are sitting there playing darts, and then somebody walks by and just hears a conversation, and then we call them in to hang out. It's that. It isn't a showcase. It isn't supposed to be lights, camera, action. If that's what you want, then I don't know why you ever listened, is what I'll say. I don't know.
Anyway, enough about that. Thank you, Ivor, for the excellent email. One of the best I've ever read on the air, on the bits. Hey, Dort, you got any apps on this show called Android App Addicts?
I do, but this is an app that first, honestly, I think first has a conversation behind it. Okay, I don't want to say the privacy thing because to me, it's not really about privacy thing. It's more just about choice and control. I like choice. I'm a firm believer. The reason monopolies exist is when governments get involved and governments start regulations. If you take a look in the history of the world, monopolies typically come about because government imposed regulations to help that company become a monopoly. Whether you believe me or not, I don't care. Anybody, listeners or whatever, because that's just how it happens. So I'm a firm believer in competition. I'm also a believer in the free market, but that's a different podcast. Competition to me is key. And I saw this link and I was immediately, unbelievably, apprehensively like down on this link because it says Bloom, a free open source Google programmed in Rust. As soon as I read this, I said, so what? This is like another DuckDuckGo? I mean, what do they mean? You know, I was literally sarcastically talking to myself in that exact tone. What is this? Kind of thing. And Rust, I don't know, Mark, if you're aware about Rust and it's, what's a word? The atmosphere around it. But Rust is supposedly the next generation future programming language. Everything should be done in it. It's the best thing ever. If you still code in C# or C++ or whatever, you're stupid.
Oh, the new language of the gods, of course.
Yes, and every operating system should be programmed in it and all this kind of stuff. But then I actually started clicking links in this article and I went through a little bit further, and this is actually kind of interesting. Okay. When they say they want to be the next Google or an open version of Google, they don't mean a search engine. The last thing they do is a search engine. They try to do the other things. If you go to bloom.sh, which I'll tell you, being a Linux guy, not completely comfortable going to a website called bloom.sh. I keep thinking it's going to run a script on my box and take it over. But I went there. You go create a free account, blah, blah, blah. And then what you get in it is actually tools. You get calendaring, you get a like a drive, you get the ability to dynamically add URLs to download to the drive directly, which I like a lot. You get a gallery app. You get more than a couple things like baked into this. You get 28 gigs of file space free. Um, so competition is what I think we all need. If I really now want more than ever, I want Google to be at the beck and call of the United States government, and I want them to not work with Huawei. And while you're at it, don't work with Xiaomi, don't work with Oppo, don't work with any of those companies, and force those companies to do something else. Because if they do, Google is going to be in a lot of trouble. Because in hindsight, Google does nothing spectacular. It does enough acceptable, is what I'll say. Now, the search engine, it's hard to beat that, but the drive, the calendaring, the galleries kind of thing could easily be overtaken by somebody else. Um, I, I do believe there is a way you can actually download this as well and actually run your own instance of Bloom, but I literally found this today. I think this was actually published today. Can't remember. Yeah, June 5th. It was published yesterday, so I found it today. So if you just want to look at something trying to be competitive versus the giant we call Google, take a look at Bloom. I'm not going to say it's going to wow you. I'm not going to say it's going to change the world. My name is not Bill Nye. Hi, my name is DoorToDoorGeek. I just found this interesting enough for me to at least bring it here, download it, install it, and there is an Android app. I like trying new things. So I'm going to leave this installed for at least a couple weeks and see what kind of functionality I can get out of it.
So it's got the notes and the storage, basically their version of Dropbox, and music. What it's missing is a few killer things like Docs, for example, was a killer app. But it's an interesting idea. I would love what I've been looking for years is an open source self-hosted version of Google Docs, and a lot of people have claimed to be that, but nobody's actually ever been that. I have hope that these guys might continue on to do that, but yeah, I'm all in. I like options.
Yeah, I'll say you can get close to Google Docs on your own. It involves installing a very specific version of LibreOffice on a box you control, and then you get some manner of collaboration, live collaboration. It is not smooth.
Right.
It is not as smooth. You can do stuff like what's it called, Pirate Pad, where you can get collaboration, but the formatting is not there. The functionality not there. I'll say this, one of the hardest things to truly mirror is the true Google Doc environment. Of course, Office 365, you can do a lot of that. Zoho Office, you can actually do a fair amount of it in Zoho Office as well, but you can't self-host it yourself.
Mm.
I don't know how much longer it's going to take, but I will say the platform was the one that caught me off guard. It's a security scanner. They have Drive, they have BitFlow, that's the cloud storage from direct downloads. Notes, very light text notes. Contacts, Arcade. I was afraid to open that today, so I didn't. Music and gallery. But the platform is the one that interested me. It's basically a security scanner. So anywhere you're at, you open up your Bloom, and then you can run a security scan right from inside it on whatever network that you're currently on. You better do it on networks that you are allowed to run this on, is what I'll say. But that was at least interesting to me, something different.
Yeah, clicking the install button. Other people complain on other shows about how hard it is to find apps. Door, on the other hand, brings you an app that is 3 days old with 100 installs because he's the door-to-door geek and nobody else is.
Any show that literally brings you one app a show, to me, is not even trying. A Google alert, just setting a Google alert on new Android application in like air quotes something will get you 15 applications a week. maybe if I was getting paid like they were, I would be just as incompetent, but I'm not. So I don't know. But I do have plenty of apps, Mark. The first one I want to bring though is only because it's an app I will never buy. It's an app I will never pay for, but it is a sign, hopefully not, but it's a sign of things to come. Wonder Boy is a semi-popular series of games on PC and I believe on PS and Xbox. There is a version of at least one of them on Nintendo Switch. Uh, Wonder Boy, the Dragon's Trap. It was just on sale $6.99. Now it's back up to $9.99. By .emu. .emu. We've brought that publisher on this show easy 50 times. Adventure, everybody 10 and up. 172 reviews. I'm very shocked they have that high of reviews. 4.4 average reviews. Version 1.1.0 updated May 29th, size 21 megs. 1,000 plus installs. You need Android 5.0 and up. This kind of thing, you don't have to worry about permissions. This is by a very well-known developer. It is overpriced, in my opinion, but because of the name it brings behind it, I guess it can be a little bit overpriced. I encourage people to look at the screenshots of this game. It is utterly gorgeous, and I've played previous versions of Wonder Boy, and it is a really well thought out, well programmed game with actual depth involved. So put it on your wish list. Maybe when it's like $4 or $5, pick it up, and I guarantee you will have fun. I just can't, and I really hope this isn't the sign of like even more games coming out to be $10 or more.
That's a lot.
It is
not. I mean, Xbox games are $50 or $60. It's not a lot, but in the Android world, we've been programmed to think it's a lot.
Right. So then I'll go the complete polar opposite. And this is a game that I have to make sure that my kids see. And the reason is there's a game that they played on Steam. I'm going to pronounce it wrong, but it's Kubarz Space Program is what I think is. I can never pronounce it. Basically, you're aliens creating a space program for the first time, where you have to literally build rockets together, figure out angles, figure out fuel mixtures. Things explode all the time, and your goal is to orbit the planet, go to the moon, blah 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 blah. This is basically that same kind of discovery, build, crafting function, but in the Lego universe. This is called Lego City Explorers. Everyone 10 and up, ages 8 and under, acceptable. Literally 8 reviews, completely free to download, completely free to install. No in-app ads, no in-app purchases. Hard to beat that, in my opinion. Updated May 29th, 2019, 82 megs in size, 1,000 plus installs. 1.0.2 is the version, 4.2 and up. We don't have to worry about the permissions again. This is a official Lego app. There's nothing to worry about. This is the perfect kind of application to put on like an Amazon tablet that you give to a kid. This is actually educational in the sense of basic rocket science, is what I'll say, but it's also a heck of a lot of fun.
I like Lego. I'm sorry, I just don't have much to say about any of these so far.
I mean, if you had like a 6-7-year-old, I think it would be a cool thing.
I'm going to be sexist for a moment and say this is a game for boys. Not to say the girls can't be interested in this, but if you get 300 boys and 300 girls in a room, you're going to get much more of the boys interested in this than the girls. And I have a house full of girls.
Yeah. Okay. I can't argue or say you're wrong. My boys are boys for now. They identify as such. Yeah. They identify as boys and they really like this game. This next one is a functional app is what I'll say. This came from Tracy Holtz. Tracy Holtz, longtime friend. He hosted Booknuts for a while, and he is right now a long haul trucker. When I say long haul, I mean really long haul. The last haul he's doing is 3,500 miles one way. So yeah, he's on long haul. This app is for if you want to specifically change your Bluetooth input or Bluetooth output specifically. Like if you have your Bluetooth connected, but for temporary purposes, you want this sound to come through the phone, or you go to answer a phone call and you want the mic on a different device to be picked up, kind of thing. That's what this app is for. It advertises itself as being able to work with older devices and fix Bluetooth mono issues. The app is called Bluetooth Mono Router Dash Mono Mono by Kodoko. Kodo Coco.
Kodo Coco.
Kodo Coco. Tools 2,900 reviews. E for everyone. Contains ads. I think it's $1.99 to get rid of the ads via a in-app purchase. All the functionalities there. If you just download the free version and just put up with the ads. 4.1 average reviews. Updated May 13th, 2019. 3.4 megs in size. 100,000 plus installs. Current version 1.3.6. 4.1 Android NUP, so this is definitely compatible with a lot of devices. Permissions, it's going to need at least some permissions: phone, device ID, network, Bluetooth settings, stuff like that. So that's perfectly normal, is what I'm going to say. Basically, it's fine-grained control over where audio is coming and where audio is going that you do not get in your normal Android interface. I downloaded it. It wasn't something that I did need, but I can definitely see if I had like the older version of Bluetooth that did not support the A2DP profile, this would fix it for me, in air quotes, for it to work.
So here's a great place where this might come in handy. I have a friend who has a super fancy newfangled car with Bluetooth audio and everything that syncs straight to the phone, but only for calls. She can't listen to her music in her multi-$1,000 super brand new car. She can only do calls. So if she puts this app on her phone, she can play audio through her car speakers. So I will definitely be sharing this with my coworker.
Right. And I'll say the only drawback to the app, which is by design, the app does not close or exit easily. It's intended to not do that. So if you need the app to close, you'd have to go to like your app settings, home, settings, apps, find the app. It's listed as mono or mono router in the app listings, and then kill it if you insist that the app stops running. That's the only downside about the app that I will tell you. Everything else just works exactly as advertised. Very cool. I'll get another functional app here because functional apps are good. This one is by Mozilla. I will say, with everything in the universe going over to a Chromium based Microsoft Edge, Vivaldi, um, Brave browser, Chrome, Chromium, all those combined, market share is going to become insane, literally insane. And built into the backbone of all those browsers is ad tracking marketing systems. I like competition, so I'm going to support non-Chromium based browsers a little bit more just because they're the underdogs here in the short-term future. So Mozilla and I'll say this: if you don't understand any Mozilla license, you seriously have a problem reading. Because if you just search Mozilla license, it's like maybe a paragraph and a half long total text, and even I can read it and understand it. That doesn't happen too often. So I was really happy to see that. This is called Firefox ScreenshotGo beta. Find screenshots fast. Basically, it is it is an application that gives you a very easy way to find all of your screenshots and add like text onto a screenshot. Basically, I'm just going to try to support Mozilla whenever I can, wherever I can. I literally last month did donate $20 to the Mozilla Foundation just because I really want competition when it comes to this kind of thing.
So Leonardo Tanuwajaya says, "This app changed my life for the better. The answer I'd been looking for. I'd always hated the fact that my screenshots are unorganized and screen swipe gestures to screenshot is just super painful, but finally, I can screenshot with only a tap. A tip though, please give an option to make the screenshot go button more transparent. The bright blue color is good looking, but quite distracting. Thanks." That's an over the top review if I ever heard one. Life changing. This app changed his life, Dor.
Well, and I'll say he has an epic like avatar picture of himself too. Like he's straight out of like a Superman movie or something.
Staring dramatically into the middle distance.
Quite. I will say this. If you take a lot of screenshots, you have specific needs about your screenshots. If you literally only take like one screenshot every 3 months, this might not be the app for you. But if you're like an abuser of them, which I will tell you this, I take easily 10 times more screenshots than I do selfies. Not surprising there. So I'm going to definitely install this app, and I guarantee you I will find a use for it.
Cool stuff.
Very cool. Another non-gaming app that I have to bring, and this is the kind of thing I'm literally obligated to bring. And it's because it's Khan Academy. Really quick, short diatribe. Microsoft made Bill Gates. Bill Gates made Microsoft. Whatever. I was the guy who would have very quickly slapped a pie right in Bill Gates's face, 20 years ago or something. Everything he's done in the last whatever years has literally made me completely 180 shift on what can come out of Microsoft as a company. Doesn't mean I trust them, but it means that yes, unbelievable good things can come out of that kind of thing. I'm terrified in the next 10 years, I'm going to say the same thing about Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. Like, think of the pivot that they did to where now they're doing this and they're doing that and they're doing this. I'm terrified that's going to happen. As of yet, it hasn't happened. But Bill Gates literally gave Khan Academy, the guy's name is Khan Academy. He literally gave him, I believe it was $40 million and said, here, keep doing what you're doing. That's the kind of thing where if I had the money, I think I might have did the very same thing. Because I don't know about you, Mark. If you have watched any Khan videos, they're unbelievably impartial, unbiased, like facts about things. Whether it is how does a loan work, what does interest look like, how is basic chemistry, how do magnets work? Yes, the amazing mystery of how magnets work. Khan Academy has a video on it. I'm afraid to know the number of hours on Khan Academy, but to me, it's one of the true gems on the internet, surrounded by heaps of colossity bags and defecation, is like the way I put it.
So very early on, my complaint about Khan Academy was the content was good, the delivery was poor. But now that he's got money and he's got lots of equipment, the quality is stellar. Yeah, but I was a fan of the Khan Academy back when I was still in education 8 years ago, and it was just amazing to have that kind of quality education, good teaching, good pedagogy available. Sometimes our teachers would play the lessons in their class because he could teach it better than they could. So yeah, good stuff, and I'm glad they've stood the test of time.
Yeah, and they have came a very long way. This one is Khan Academy Kids free e- e- educational games and books by of course Khan Academy education category 2,213 reviews, E for everyone, especially ages 5 and under. Okay, quick, again, tangent. Anybody who complains about kids and screen time, I would really like to just plant a couple knuckles a quarter inch past your nose. The issue is not screen time. The issue is what is on that screen when the kids are on it. Take the opportunity to have your kids addicted to the idea of learning. It's possible. Trust me, not just fart jokes and your mama jokes and bad meme videos, but actual education. You put them in front of kids earlier, they're much more accustomed to it later in life. I have personal experience with that. 4.6 average reviews on this app, updated April 18th, 2019, 97 megs in size, 100,000 plus installs, current version 2.3, 5.0 Android and up. Again, permissions, we're not even going to look at it. This is Khan Academy, people. This is the kind of thing I beg you. If literally go buy a $20 cheap tablet from Walmart, put this kind of app on it, and then give it to a kid under 5 and let the kid sit there for an hour or two a day going through this application. There's little doubt in my mind they will come out of it years later a better, smarter, more productive person, better able to actually use critical thinking. I had no problem saying that out loud.
All right, Dora, we're getting long in the tooth here. Let's start emptying the old tank there. But while you're thinking of what you're going to read next, let me read another email from one of our fans here. Well, I had it, and then there we go. All right. Stephen says, "Hi, Dora and Mark. I have been listening to you since I discovered your podcast in 2014, and have enjoyed catching up with the back catalog of episodes. I look forward to your podcast each week. First of all, can I say how sorry I was to hear of Eric's illness and passing? The only consolation is that he's not suffering anymore. I bet he's up there listening to podcasts right now. He was such a great guy to listen to and made the show such an awesome podcast to listen to. Anyway, here are a couple of apps you might want to discuss on your show." And so he's got three different things. The one is the Car Home Ultra. He says, "I have it linked up through Tasker to start up when I have the phone charging and Wi-Fi off, basically when I start driving. And it has the current address / location at the top, plus the speed, date, time, and weather. And you can add large buttons to access your apps, direct dial your contacts, or play and forward your music. As well as I have map speed limits, which actually may not be very useful anymore. And he also says he uses overlays, which allows you to place widgets on top of other apps. I have a widget of Podcast Addict, which I switched to after your recommendation, as Beyond Pod was becoming unreliable, and Power Amp, so I can see the album art. I've heard you mention that you listen to around 140 podcasts, and I wonder if you'd if you'd have a list of them that I could check out. I always love discovering something new to listen to. Anyway, keep up the excellent work. AA has kept me entertained and informed on my commute for years, and I've enjoyed installing the many apps that you have recommended. Thanks again." So I'll put some of those links in the chat room while Door comments.
And I'll make sure that they're in the notes as well for the show. And I will make sure the goal is right now, the last link in the show will be a link to an OPML file, which is basically nothing more than a listing of RSS feeds and titles of feeds. It was taken, I can't remember how long ago. Now I'm back up to, I believe, over 150 podcasts, but it literally comes with a warning. I said it once, I'll say it again. I listen to everything from Ancient Aliens to Cosmos. I listen to political things on the extreme left. I listen to political things on the extreme right. I listen to basically everything. I like to try to be at least well educated on all kinds of fronts, not just fronts that I agree with, is what I'll say. So I'll try to make sure all those links are in, that link is in the show as well. But please don't be offended, anybody, if you click that and you see a show that you expect to see and you don't see, or vice versa. You look at it and say, "What is this? Why would he listen to such a thing?" I listen to 24 hours of podcast a day. So, I got to fill it with something.
That's a lot of podcast listening.
It is. And I will say, in the last 2 months or so, much more of them are podcasts that are news based, like Global BC, BBC World News Reports, Sky News, Bloomberg Business, more than a couple like that as well, just because I find that when people are talking about money, is what I'll say. When people are focusing on money, at least I know that they're biased towards what makes money. Where when you listen to like normal news broadcast, you might have to listen for a while till you recognize what their bias actually is. If that made any sense.
It did, kind of. Yeah.
Okay. This last one, here's what I'll say, the last one is actually a game from Atari. Now, you think Atari, I think Atari, you think really ugly games. Games with big blocks where your character is a red square and your enemy is a blue square and you gotta, kill you. No, that's not what this is. This is called Citytopia, TM, simulation game. 167 reviews, E for everyone's. Does have ads, does have in-app purchases. I'm not sure the limits of the game yet, or if you have to buy something just to proceed. I haven't gotten that far yet. Completely free to download, but I'll say 4.4 average reviews. Updated May 31st, 2019, 57 megs in size, 10,000 plus installs. Current version 2.1.1. Android 5 and up is required. Permissions are nothing special. Storage, photos, media, all I'll say normal permissions. This is like the old Sim City is the absolute best way I can put it, where you have to basically build and construct your city. It is a little bit higher level, a little bit less detailed than something like Sim City. But I will say, Pocket City to me was still game of the year last year. Nothing was better as that game was, yet as simple for people to play who don't know anything about the game, and the kind of game you could literally play for a minute here, a minute there, without having to like put in hours and hours to have fun. This is pretty dang close to that game, except it literally looks better. And so far, it plays just as smooth, if not better, which blows my mind. I did not think an Atari game might contend for my personal game of the year this year. And we're only in May, and so far, this is really close to game of the year.
Atari was the best of the best given the technology they had available. There's no reason to think they wouldn't still be today. They know games. They were just limited by the technology of the time, which they invented, by the way.
Yeah. So this is the kind of game that I'm having fun with. I'm being almost a little like apprehensive with it. I haven't hit any of the paywalls up or any of the things that make these kinds of games bad. I've only literally had it for like a day and a half, but so far I've had definitely fun, is what I'll say. Definitely.
The in-app purchases are expensive, as the guy in the tub points out. Starts at $3, $2, and goes up to $33. So if you really enjoy that game, you got to really enjoy it.
Well, or it's just hopefully it's just the kind of thing when you pay money, you get non-critical pay to win type things, is what I really hope.
Yeah. One quick shout out to Corey Kirby, who upped his Patreon pledge this month. Thank you so much, Corey, for doing that. Not only are you awesome, but you're now 52% more awesome. So thank you so much for that. You guys literally keep the show on the air. I mean,
quite.
You pay for the stuff, and we appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry, I stopped vamping while Dor was still drinking the beer. That's a bad host.
No, you're fine. Because literally when I'm done, the last step I do before saving the MP3 file is truncate silence. So only the live people will experience that.
And for honestly, Door, I'm gonna call you to task for that. Look, sometimes the awkward silence is beautiful for comedic value, and sometimes I really ply my host skills well to have that, and then you just zip them all and make them go away, and yeah, you negate me.
Well, I'll say at least twice in the last year-ish when you've said, I'm just going to let that silence sit there. I have went in and literally selected around that area and said truncate silence, and I left it in. And it was like a good 4 seconds worth of
Yeah.
complete silenceness.
It's okay. It's okay to be silent, Door. Don't be afraid of the silence.
It isn't that I'm afraid, it's just, I got 24 hours to listen to, and.
But you're listening at 87 times the normal anyway. What difference does it make?
Well, and I did have a good friend Zoke say, if I were to drive where from where I'm at right now to where you're at right now, that will be over it was over 40 hours of nonstop driving. And I said, well, just think of it if you were, like doing it as a podcast, it would only take like 1/5 the time.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he would probably die in a car accident, but we didn't go that far.
Or you could do like the Muppets and travel by map.
Yeah, absolutely. Really quick, I just gotta say again, people, do not hesitate if you want a free Google Home Mini. Next week is the week that we will be giving it away. Next week, June the 13th, 9 p.m. New York time, we will be giving it away. More than likely at the end of the show is my logic. And I will have an email address, so I will contact you. You don't have to listen live in order to win it, but don't be shocked if I give double credit to people who are listening live next week as well. So who knows?
All right. And Guy in the Tub says, don't put my name in the drawing. Keep that thing away from me. He doesn't want the government spying on him.
They already are. He has an Android phone.
Yeah. I've been thinking of buying a Google Home Mini just to play with it a little bit, but I don't get it. If you're an Android guy already and you have your phone within reach at all times and you can, hey, schmoogle that, why do you need an Android? That's why I went Amazon when I went just to do something different. But,
yeah, I mean, there's no added functionality from what I can tell. There might be a touch more convenience, but most of the time, to me, that convenience wouldn't be for me. It would be for everybody else because my phone is always right there. So I don't, for me, it would literally just be using up extra electricity with getting very little out of it. And I'm green, Mark. I don't cut my grass. Just ask my neighbors. I'm really green.
Yeah. So the most common phrase said around my house is, Alexa, you suck. Okay, Google. That's a very common phrase around my house.
Sounds very believable.
You ask something simple like, hey, what's the 7-day forecast? And she says, currently, it's 72 degrees outside. Hey, Google, what's the 7-day forecast? And it tells you exactly.
Yeah, I love that. And definitions. Yesterday, literally, as soon as the wife got out of the car, I just watched boom, 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 boom. She went in the building where she works at, and I just immediately said, okay, Schmoogle, define automatopoeia. And then it told me the definition. Then I said, Google, define alliteration. And then it told me the definition, and I thought, I'm right, but I can't tell her I'm right. She'll get mad. So then I just, went to work. And I will say, shout out. If anybody out there, I don't want to say a casting call or anything like that, but I will say this. It's now 2 people on the show. Honestly, I'm okay even if we had like 4 people on the show or a very well behaved 5-person show even. It doesn't have to be just 2 people. The hardest thing to do is to show up every week. Okay. If you don't think you can dedicate to 50 weeks out of 52 weeks a year, do not contact me. If you
All right,
think
this will be my last show.
well, no, you were really good for the first year, Mark, and then you built up enough credit
Okay.
in like the bank of credibility to where you can take off because I know you're coming back. Um, if you think you can be on this show semi frequently, I have no problem buying you hardware. I have no problem helping you get better as a podcaster. So I don't expect perfection, nor do I expect a true professional. But if you think you want to be on an Android podcast, AAA at podnutz.com. Might take 3 to 4 weeks for us to even connect to see how everything sounds, but shoot me an email, aa@podnutz.com. There will be no bias. There will be no preference. Anybody could be here or nobody. We don't know yet.
Yeah, and it'll change your life. The money alone is fantastic.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You'll finally be able to save buy that green bean you've been saving up for.
yeah. I mean, with all the advertisers we have on every show, it just pours in.
Yeah, and if you happen to be a dancing girl willing to bare your breasts, even better.
A side tangent. I was utterly impressed. My kids watch this horrible Disney XD show called Player Select, where all it is people trying to look 10 to 20 years younger playing games on TV so kids watch. It's really bad television. But I was utterly impressed at the fact that every time I saw a female on that show, they were not completely made up, number one. They were not covered in makeup, number two. And none of them showed anything even remotely close to cleavage, which I'm utterly impressed by Disney for basically pushing that kind of content on the kids. Because every time I see my kid watching a YouTube video of someone playing a game and it's a female, I'm like aghast. No, stop watching that. Change it. I mean, that's borderline softcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me sad sometimes to think about people whose only money making attribute is the fact that they're beautiful, because nobody stays beautiful.
Well, and okay, first my wife showed me two pictures. Two pictures were a can of corn, and corn was pouring out of it, and one side said hardcore pouring, hardcore pour, and the other one said soft corn pour, and it just caught me off as funny. I gotta believe at least some of the people out there who are using sexuality to sell clicks, views, or whatever, they actually have to have, I hope, some actual underlying talent. I gotta believe that there's something else there. I just really hope I'm not wrong.
Mm. It's something I think about a lot as a father of three daughters. You know, the Scarlett Johansson, for example, is a mediocre actress who is gorgeous.
Uh-huh.
And, in Western society, we start to lose interest in a woman after she hits a certain age. And she's got to make all of her money now, and she's doing fine, I'm sure. But, in a few years, she won't be able to buy her way onto a major motion picture. And that makes me sad to think about. That's the world in which I'm raising my daughters to live in.
And there's a couple females in Hollywood who have withstood the test of time, is what I'll say. But I still don't think they're getting enough credit, enough stuff, whether it be Meryl Streep or Sally Field or whatever. There are definitely older actresses who could do more and maybe should do more, but they just, Hollywood doesn't seem to like them. And it might be the old Harvey Weinstein mentality, but I don't know.
All right. Didn't want to derail the show in that direction, but every now and then I have a serious thought. I try to get rid of it as soon as possible, though.
Well, here's my serious thought. If you ever need help burying somebody because of anything they did to any of your daughters, don't hesitate to let me know. I'll be there.
Okay. Yeah, I can dispatch them pretty well, I think. I just may need some help carrying the piece.
Well, you might need an alibi.
Yeah. I learned something today. Interesting trivia fact. Sledgehammer. You ever wonder what the word sledge comes from. It's from Old English for slay. A sledgehammer was the slaying hammer, the killing
Ooh,
hammer. That's where the word comes from. It was the
one shot.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Don't mess with the guy who's got the killing hammer.
Yeah, I can definitely not argue with that.
Yeah. All right. That's all I have to say about that. Listening audience, thank you for hanging out with us again. Thank you for those who have supported us over at Patreon. If you'd like to be one of those, Patreon, Patreon.com, or just, hey, Google, patreon.com. That works too. / Android App Addicts, and make a pledge there. Again, that is a monthly pledge. So if you pledge $20, it's not $20 a show, it's $20 a month. And, for less than the cost of a gourmet pizza, you can support this wonderful guy right here and all the good stuff that he does. Steve McLaughlin, whom I've never actually shared, oxygen with. I've never met him in real life.
Yet.
I know for a fact he's one of the nicest people on the face of the planet. And he's proven that time and time again with his interactions with other people, with his constant giving of himself and of his talents to this audience. And honestly, that's worth a few bucks. So I would appreciate it if you went to patreon.com. I would consider it a personal favor. You went to patreon.com / Android App Addicts and kicked in a few bucks. So that's all I got to say about that. Dor, what are your final words of wisdom for the night?
I thank everyone for their support. I thank everyone for their love. Don't forget, always communicate with people out there. Even if you haven't talked to them in 3 years, drop them a message, even if it is Facebook Messenger or someplace. I thank everyone for the birthday wishes that I never saw on Facebook because I don't go on Facebook ever again for the rest of my life. But thank you for saying happy birthday to me. Maybe you listen to this and hear that. And family, don't ever forget family. While they might be the bane of your existence on some days, on other days, they're the only ones there to support you.
All right, let me do a quick app roundup. I forgot to do that. So the Bloom, a free open source Google written in Rust, Wonder Boy, the Dragons app by .emu, Lego City Explorers by Lego Systems, Bluetooth Mono Router by Coco, Firefox ScreenshotGo Beta, Find Screenshots Fast, Unreleased by Mozilla. That's a long title. Khan Academy Kids, Free Educational Games and Books by Khan Academy, KHAN Academy. Citytopia by Atari Inc. So there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 apps on a show that really was a whole lot of other stuff plus apps. So I think we did fine by you there on a show called Android App Addicts. So thanks for being with us, everybody. We'll see you next week. That's it for this episode of the Android App Addicts. All right, Guy in the Tub's back, so hopefully there will be some show titles coming.
That's exactly what I thought, and I don't want to use them like a tool, but I'll say this: the best show titles was when him and Ivor were here competing.
So for every show title you give us, we will take an entry out of the Google Home contest. Don't you hate it when you get to the bottom of your glass of water and find stuff floating down there?
Yep. And then you got to think, was it there the whole time?
Yeah, it probably was.
Yeah, I know.
Power words. There you go.
Yeah. I love my youngest one. Dang. I don't like. I'm uncomfortable reprimanding him. And I will say this: I almost enjoy the fact that my son is visibly not comfortable with the fact that he sees my discomfort in reprimanding him. He does not like that at all. And I like the fact I had to explain to the school shrink. You understand that autism is a lack of empathy, a lack of understanding emotions, and this kid is like unbelievably emotional, and then when he sees people being emotional in front of him, he unbelievably like feels for them. Have you noticed that? I'm just wondering because I do. You know, government employees. Yeah. Gotta say, this new Audacity does seem a little bit better.
Let's see. Let me see if I can come up with a intro.
Power Smurf. Oh God, that's good. More legs and breast.
Here we go. All right. Atari's back in the video game business. Google may have a run for its money eventually. And showgirls on this show? Find out all that and more on this week's episode of Android App Addicts.
Whether you believe me or not, I don't care. Damn. I like Lego.
I like Lego. I love Lamp. See, that's one of those shows that I'm just waiting for the day when I can share it with my children. They're just not ready for it yet.
What show?
Anchorman.
Oh. Yeah. That's not a yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of them that I want. My oldest just turned 14. 14. Okay, he just turned 14, and there is a couple things that I looked at in the last like 3 months. And I said, no, I don't think he's quite ready for that yet.
This was 560?
540.
540. I already closed the thing where I wrote
That's
it down.
okay. That's okay. It doesn't matter. I'll see the file date, and it'll work.
No, it's just I usually write that down when you say it, and then I did, and then I closed it before I titled my show.
Yeah, and I noticed a guy in the tub try to troll me mentioning that Stardew Valley on Android was $10. Yes, but there's a difference. That game is worth it. I'm only a little biased.
Remember when Python was the rage? It was the language to beat all languages.
Oh yeah. $7.99, guy in the tub. Your Canadian prices are invalid. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Python was, I don't want to say the hipster language, but it was the hip language.
Yeah. I like Python, but
there
are others I like better.
I tell you, I love two things. One, I love Python just because of its readability. I was told something last week in my 4-hour training class every week that it took a couple days to sink in. And I agree with it now wholeheartedly. The best code is not the most efficient code. Okay. And that reminded me, Google touting how they went from 10 megs down to 600K or whatever. It's pointless. Okay. That doesn't mean anything. The best code is not the most efficient code. The best code is the code that gets everything done in an efficient fashion, yet being completely comprehensible to someone else looking at that code. That is an unbelievably hard balancing act, in my opinion. And I think Python allows you to make things that do really not super efficient things, but really efficient things, yet still being legible to other people. That's what I like about Python, even though I only get to use it once every couple months. I'd never at work because they told me Python is a security risk.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you guys can't even spell the word security. What are you talking about?
Security. So of the titles there, which are awesome, by the way. Whoa, that was weird. My favorite is Alexa, you suck. Okay, Google.
I somehow thought you were going to gravitate towards that because as soon as I saw that, I was like, yeah,
That's
there's
a
some
good one.
fact behind that. Sledge means sleigh, like that.
Privacy is illusion. That's a good one. That would get people's attention.
Well, I know, but here's the thing. I did listen to, I can't remember the podcast now, about a week ago, where they explained how baked into government systems, like in the UK, privacy is a part of what's given, a part of what's guaranteed privacy in some measure. In the United States governmental system, there's no mention of privacy anywhere. By explicit design, privacy has nothing to do with the old basis of American law. And I found that kind of interesting because their logic was when you s- start to make privacy laws, you inhibit what people can do. And old American laws worrying about were not about inhibiting people from doing things, but telling people about their own personal freedoms.
Well, yeah, this country is founded on the premise that the government can't do anything we don't say it can do.
Right. And these are what we say it could do.
Right. And Europe is founded on, they come out of a long line of dictators and kings and
Kicks and
conquerors.
buttocks. Yeah.
And it's from, I will do anything. I am the law, and you get what rights I give you. The US is built on the concept of the government can only do what we say it can do. I'm not saying that's accurate anymore, but that's the foundation of the country.
Right. And that's what they're, I don't want to say protecting against, but that's their priority.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And that to me is interesting. It's one of those, I don't know what the right word is, Mark. One of those like softy, spongy, amorphous things that are still affecting everything in the culture, in
Right.
society. And like, dare I say, kids these days just don't understand that at all. Because why should they? They're kids.
Yeah. Jefferson argued strongly against the Bill of Rights because he said it was redundant. We don't
Yes.
need to tell the government what they can't do because they can't do anything we say they can unless we tell them they can.
Right. And yeah, and I read a thing. I didn't read a thing. I listened to a thing on that where he said the fear out of doing that was then you would give government the explicit target of how to go around it.
Right.
If we dictate it, then they know what they can't do. Thus, they know what they can do. Yeah. Yeah. He was a smart fella. Definitely a smart fella. Of course, if it was today, he would be, you know, you know.
Some of the smartest people in the world created this country.
Well, and what I don't think the average uh clickbait Facebook person understands these days is no matter how perfect people were not in the past, today's the same thing. Nobody's perfect. We all have incredible flaws. And that should be Alexa. ALXIA.
Yeah. Just Alexa.
Aha. ALEXA. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. That just means I can't spell. Surprise. Oh, and my Friday training. Tomorrow I have Friday training. Next week I have no training. Every week after that, they're moving it to Thursday training, which means, more sanity, I hope.
Just means you'll be angry when you come to the podcast.
No, there's at least a couple people in the class that, to be honest, are really nice people. The trainer, he's a kid. He's literally half my age. Crikey. He's literally half my age. But he really is a nice kid who means well. But he admitted to me two things. As a
Okay.
company, they
Before
never hire
before you
experienced people.
quote what happened at work today, do you need to stop the stream?
Nope.
Okay.
No, no. They know because this is easily obvious. They hate hiring experienced people because they admit they have to tear down part of their knowledge.
Right.
And I thought that's very honest of you to admit. And he said, "That's why we don't like when we look out in our training class and we see, you know." I said, "Yes, people twice your age." He's like, "Yeah, yeah." He said, "But you guys are doing really good." "Sure we are." "Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, yeah, yeah."
wink, wink.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, my friend, it's late and I have work in the morning. So
Alright, sir.
I will see you next week, if not before.
I hope you have a good week.
You too. Later, brother. Bye,
Yep.
stream people, YouTubers.
Okay, I have to go to a potty break, but I did export that. Oh. I gotta copy the file from one server to my Nextcloud server to make sure that if my house burns down, I still have the file, and then I need to copy Mark's file down to my network. So if my Nextcloud server blows up, you know, 540, 540, 540, paste. There's Mark's 540, paste. Let me get rid of 539s, delete. Okay. I don't like. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I will be right back, people. I'm going to leave the stream running. Uh, is there something stupid I can? Oh yeah. I see. I wish I could. There's a button I could hit to say infinite loop, but there is no button I can hit to say infinite loop. So I will come here. I will click this, and I'll play this, and I'll be right back. Come on, man. Okay, and I just noticed that for some reason it's showing that edge right there. That's quite annoying. So page, full chat, crop, crop. left pixels 10, 20, 25. And really, we should do the right pixels as well. 30. Yep, 30 looks fine. Okay. Transition. Yeah, see, that's better. We don't want that line there. That line there looks bad. Looks really bad. So, first thing I got to do is got to document these apps really quick. Yeah, only a couple of them. Updates, maps, and searches, which I actually found that to be interesting read. I like the fact that Google is looking at times of crisis to enable better features, better functionality. Uh, you know, we're all more aware, I'll say, of floods and bad things happening. It'll be nice if I was trying to get out of an emergency area and my phone could help me find a safer route. That would just be nice. 125, I believe, was the Stadia price. And I'm not sure, but I'm going to keep it 125 for now. 129. Dang it, I was close. I don't see myself buying into Google Stadia, but I would seriously like it if they would change how that payment plan would be, because I think if they do it right, they could literally, draw a good 20% of the market in the first year and become really competitive. But doing what they're doing, I think they're only going to get the super hyper social dedicated gamer, which I think is almost an oxymoron, but the people that live and die by the Twitch stream kind of personality. I think are the only people who are going to be in on that. And then the people who, of course, watch those people will have no choice but to dig in and pay the money. Lego City Explorers, I cannot tell you guys how much my kids are going to love that. And it's completely free and it's from a trusted source. So you don't have to worry about it snooping or spying on you or doing anything malicious. The Lego apps on Android, few brands have supported Android like the Lego company has. Yeah, they have some paid stuff out there, but a huge percentage of the stuff that go out there is free or nearly free. Mozilla, I even got to look at the price. I know Mozilla Screenshot is free because it's Mozilla. Their goal is not financial profits. Khan Academy, of course, I also know is free because it's Khan Academy. Yeah, I got a good friend at work getting ready for his wife to have a kid no matter what in the next week. And I'm really tempted to get him a super cheap tablet with a super good spongy case on it and give him the a Academy app pre-installed on it and tell him, go to have his kid go to town on it. So I show 9 links, but I need to remember we're going to have my OPML link in there as well. Okay, delete rows. Thank you. So 9 ain't bad. Control C. Open up my G edit. Do some replace all mojo once. Do some replace Mojo twice. Close. Now let's first and foremost update this YouTube video description because that's the easiest to verify. Studio. And I know last week I mentioned how I need to slow down on my vaporizer. I would say this week I did really good. 2 days 2 days I went to work and I didn't even take it with me to work, so I felt better because I was better behaved. Is the way that I think of it. Okay, so now, no. Let's copy this description, copy it back after I do length, up arrow, paste. But dang, that looks good. Come back, paste it back in, hit save. Okay, now let me come to podnutz.com. Click on live, Android App Addicts. Click on the header of the video. Stop listening to myself because it's really annoying. Okay, yeah, there you go. There's the. Oh, that's not the right. How is that? How did I get that? Dang it. I definitely messed that up. I'm glad I caught that. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Delete. Okay. So now let's first and foremost, let's get that OPML link that I said I was going to get, which I believe was toward Geek episode number. Let me just go like this. It's easier to just go through the search. Pods.com, search DDG OPML, enter, big money. Oh, so it's in a lot of the episodes, it sounds like. So we'll just go down to this one. Should be the very bottom. And it is. I love it when a plan comes together. Control C. Let's come down here to the very bottom. After Citytopia. Okay. Now let's come back here and let's copy this again. Fix the YouTube description. Hit save. Come back. Refresh this page. The actual YouTube link. Stop listening to myself. Much better. Okay, so now the YouTube is fixed. The description is fixed. Now let's start the uploading of the saved file for the Patreon people. Gotta first go back and rename it correctly, which I almost always forget to do. But I thankfully made it easy. Copy, paste, replace 39 with 40. Go back up to here, select file for upload, DoorToDoorGeek, number 40, control, nope, need to come here, copy the description, back to here. Now the only trick is I need to get the tags. I get the tags from going to studio.youtube.com. Yeah, I could probably do that. Yep. Hit copy, come back here, paste, custom thumbnail, Nextcloud. And yeah, Josh, if you're still there, I did want to. You mentioned it in the chat. I want to try it. Um, that Nextcloud has some sort of document collaboration. I don't know what the prerequisite is for it, but I do think you have to install something for it to be fully functional. If that's what Mark wants, I'll try to see if I can get it installed on mine. Okay, uploaded, good. Started, current, edited, good. Documentation, done. Okay, we're actually making good progress. Having the Google Home Hub is nice. Yeah, and that's the thing, Charles, in the YouTube chat. Um, the Google Home Hub, all of the home appliance AI assistants, however you want to put it, they're all convenience based. None of them are any. And let me rephrase that. Unless you have an affliction or a handicap, they're literally nothing more than just convenience sakes. And with and if you already own an Android phone or another type of those devices, then it's truly just a secondary device. When you have true handicaps in a household, I can literally see um, those kinds of devices being, I don't want to say mandatory because that's a bit strong of a term, but needed to really truly be comfortable. I can see home appliances becoming n- more of a necessity. I don't want to say a necessity, but definitely more of a necessity. I just don't see in my house them being utilized really much of any. And I do like your show titles there, Stuart. Power Smurf, like Smurfy, powerful Smurfy words, or something like that is what I was thinking. But you're on the same path as me. Showgirls, Carl chases, and exploding Android phones. Yeah, we did have a listener curb a Android phone. That was a while ago. Just had baby in the tub. That's awesome, Josh. Not going to be done for like another hour, kind of thing. I do see your email there, Stuart, but I gotta get working on the editing of the audio, and then I gotta do MRP podcast sent me a thing today right when I was leaving work saying episode 150 is done and I got to produce it, and I try to make sure that when he asked me to produce a show I do it as immediate as possible, which unfortunately sometimes means 4 to 6 hours later. And he always says how it's no big deal, but I keep thinking it's a big deal. I don't want to dissatisfy him. He's an unbelievably nice guy and very forgiving is what I will say. Uh, okay, there's 540 for Mark, 540 for me. Okay, let me do this. Why am I not doing this? Um, Screen share, entire screen. Okay, come over here to outgoing, nothing there. That's right. Come over to ingoing, get rid of this. Now to do the actual editing. Okay, don't, I hope I just didn't mess it up. Let me try it again. Paste. There you go. That little blip scared me. Um, Go ahead and do some noise cancellation. Actually, as soon as I hit record, I record a little bit of my background central AC heat pump kind of thing. I like when I like when I remember to do that. Makes it much easier to isolate uh, noise in the beginning. And I should be right here. Oh, I always forget. Bang, open control, phone. Which makes no sense. Oh yeah, that's a good static right there. Uh, Capture noise removal, get noise profile. Now let's come here. All this is before we actually started the show, so I can de-amplify, de-amplify, de-amplify. Just get rid of it. It's nothing but garbage. Okay, Control A. I already have the noise sample, so now we're going to noise removal and let that get rid of all the background hits that will still come through, just not as noticeable uh, through the audio. But it is there when I talk, so I'm going to get rid of it. Hopefully, it doesn't damage the audio too much. While I enjoy my Yingling, I'm a big fan of a more local beer, not microbrews, just more local beers, especially when it's not rice brewed, rice beers. I do have a bottle here that my wife gave me for my birthday. Glenlivet 12 first pour, which I've never even heard of. But after looking it up on the internet, it's definitely better than the average. And I haven't opened it up yet. The logic is I'm not going to open it up until she's ready to partake as well. Because, it's supposed to share that kind of thing with the ones you love. And, she kind of lives in the house with me. So who better to share it with? Let's do a Dyson compression. Let's see how much this affects the audio. It should do a good number on my audio this week. I have more than a couple peaks in my audio that I do not like. So hope everything's going good for you, Red. Hope the weather's been normal for you. So yeah, Google or YouTube Analytics says I've had 6 concurrent viewers with 25 playbacks. I don't understand how that can even happen. There you go. That audio waveform looks much better. Input, change type to OGG. This is my file. Because if you notice, Mark's file is either going to look much more insane than my file or much better than my file. It's a question of if I got his OGG or MP3. His MP3 typically looks much worse than mine, but his OGG file makes my file look completely amateur like. Mark definitely has the consistent audio thing kind of nailed. He knows what he's doing. I have no problem saying better than myself. And I actually did get some time this week to play Stardew Valley, which amazed me. Got about maybe a half an hour worth of playing in it. And yeah, it's just as good as it was before. It's very uh, sneakily addictive. Why'd you get a second pair of earbuds, Red? Were the first ones fine? Oh, and I haven't put the first one in a second time yet. So do you have literally like 4 separate ones for 4 separate mono things? So you only got to charge them both up like once a day or something? Because I don't know why you would buy a second pair of them unless you had a problem with the first. A minute 35, minute 40. That ain't bad. Yeah, for an hour and a half, that's good. Okay. That was the export part of it. Just to make sure, because I was talking a lot. Door 1110. 1110. Yes, sir. That is perfect. Close. No. Mark's an OG file. I like when Mark sends OG files. Feels so much better. I know I have to worry about consistency much, much less when Mark sends an OG file. Yeah, it actually looks crazier than I thought. So let me see what this is. No, that ain't bad. It's just a laugh. It's a laugh. I really hate the fact that I can just look at look at a waveform and I know, oh, that's a laugh. Yeah, I've been doing this for a while. I'm trying to remember who it was now. There was somebody. Oh, the man I love, Tim Bauermeister, was the guy who made me learn what a waveform of a laugh looked like. Because he had the most intoxicating laugh of anybody I've ever had the pleasure of editing before, is what I'll say. Uh, okay, that's right. Select all, do the Dyson compression. And Mark looks like he spoke much less this episode, which means I wouldn't shut up. Hopefully it wasn't a snore fest. That's a joke. Okay, it's not a joke. Hopefully it's not a snore fest. I'm always utterly apprehensive about my own shows, about how they sound. And then 90% of the time when I listen to them and I have no opinion is when somebody tells me that they're good. And sometimes when I listen to them and I think they're good is when I get feedback saying it was a snore fest or boring or stupid or I was wrong. And I don't know if Rob is still there. Rob was in the YouTube chat. Rob said, one thing I want from some podcast, and I've seen you guys do here, is more audience interaction. I don't know if it's my social inadequacy. I don't even know how to put it. I don't know if it's my inability. There you go. But I've never been on a show where it actually seems to drive any number of people to want to come out live. Even when I've done open mic shows, whether it is Linux Basics, Podnutz Meetup, or anything, at the most I've only gotten like 2 or 3 people to come out live. And then when I go do like actual podcast, it seems like at the most I get 6 to 8 people at the most to come out live. And it's one of those things I don't know why. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I know I don't like pimp out things and insist that you share or hit a like button or any of those things. Maybe that's the reason why we don't have a lot of interaction. But I will say, guys like Charles, guys like Red, guys like lately Stuart, guys like Guy in the Tub, um, guys like Ivor, guys like Mark Surratt, guys like Chuck have came out to at least some consistency, but it's like I can't get that network effect to where we have like genuine crowds come out. Part of me almost likes that, is what I hate saying, because if there was 50 people watching the live stream all in the chat at the same time, it would be so difficult for me to actually watch and keep up with that I don't know if I would pay any attention to it, which is not good for anybody. Okay, now, because I was talking so much, was that the compression or the save? That was the save, okay. Because that says 11:14, 4 minutes after it, okay. So now we go over here, file recent, AAA, because I've been really bad this week to not do more podcasts. I could blame it on my family. I could blame it on just being old and tired. But I blame it on myself. I do need to do a DDG. Haven't done a DDG for seriously, I think it's almost been a month, which is not good. It's, to be honest, it's quite disrespectful. So let me find where Mark starts talking. There you go. Should be. Well, this shouldn't be it. This can't be it, can it? No, Mark's audio is not going to line up at all. That's what I thought. Mark's audio is completely bonkers. So let me just cut that. Okay, I'm going to guess Mark's audio is going to be close to there. Oh, you see how that right there almost lines up? That's how you know you're onto something good. So let's temporarily mark that, drag this to there. Yeah, see, that lines up too. So let me first just listen. See, that's pretty good. It might need a little bit more space between it. So let me just drag it back just a little bit. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So now let me go back before I mess it up. I got to mark that beginning. Oh, wait, see? Mark that beginning. Come back here. Get them lined up. Cut. Bang. I love it when a plan comes together. And drop them perfectly. Now delete the beginning of that. Come here. Drag all of this to the end. Much easier when I do that. No. Okay, now that wasn't weird. Okay. Come, well, I don't know how I'm hearing extra stuff, but I am. Somehow I'm hearing like a loop. Okay, and here's where this happens. I like when Mark does his intros. I personally think he is the closest thing to a professional that I've worked with for this kind of thing. I don't know where that audio is coming from. No idea. It's coming from VirtualBox. Must be. From there. Wow, that hurt my head. Okay. Now I got to bring this back to right about there. But dang, we're gonna leave Podnutz Daily there because I like Paco. Paco's such a nice guy. And when I say such a nice guy, I mean he's literally one of the nicest guys I think I've been able to meet. That's why I almost laugh at Mark when Mark says I'm nice. I can't thank Mark for saying that. publicly because then it sounds even more um, like humble bragging. But I'm just me. Paco is an unbelievably nice guy. So, Red, why did you have to get a second pair of earbuds? Answer me, damn it. And yeah, anything that goes over 3 hours to me is good. 3.5 hours is better. If it can hit that 4 hour mark and be literally standalone wireless earbuds, then you're really, really in that top notch system. Mine almost get 4 hours. They get like 3:48. Sometimes they get 4 hours, which I really do enjoy. And yeah, Josh, if you're patient, I should be done this whole process in the next 25 minutes, maybe just about 25 minutes. But I'm not going to lie. Also, I didn't eat dinner. The last time I actually ate food was, oh yeah, 11 hours ago, just about noon today. I got home, had to run out of the house, and then as soon as I ran out of the house, had to come back, had to cook dinner for the wife. Literally, as soon as it got off the stove, had to come down here and start to get ready for the show. So I ate nothing. 3.37 is still good, right? Especially when you've paid, I want to say less than $24 a pair of Bluetooth earbuds. You know, just a couple months ago, that would have cost you easily 85, $95. So hopefully the audio doesn't get completely messed up when this gets done exporting. Back in my old system, once in a while, when this would get done exporting, it would cause like a hiccup in my audio stack, which would then cause my mic to go siloning and go crazy. So if I say, yeah, it's the only way I want to know if it's going crazy or not when it's done. Pause. Yeah. I was wondering why I heard myself. It's enough to make you go crazy. Then as soon as this is done, all I got to do is go to Patreon. Well, I got to save it, export it out. This is exporting, checking the audio levels. If the audio levels are good, I got to truncate silence and convert to MP3, save to my computer. Then I got to post to Patreon, post to WordPress, and then I got to go back in. I still haven't posted the video to Patreon either. I got to do that too. That only takes a couple of seconds. I got to say, Patreon makes it easy. There's so many things they could do better, but I still haven't found anything better than Patreon to give supporters like direct content. But I'm also a firm believer in not putting any content behind a paywall. So everything they get. They just get a touch earlier in the form of audio, and just a touch more curated or edited in the form of video. They don't get none of this video now. Let's see if the audio went crazy. Hit live. Wow, that delay is fan diddly tastic. I changed the audio ingestion settings to minimal lag, and I will say that was literally like a less than 2 seconds, 3 seconds behind the live, which I love. Oh yeah. Oh wait, that might be a little bit tough there. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to do that again. Dang it. I'm gonna turn Mark down just a touch. No. Delete. Open up recent. And it's actually easy to just say 18.8. There you go. Export. I do like the fact that Mark said cuss words weren't bad because he's a quite a religious fella, and for him to say cuss words aren't bad just proves to me that you know it's easy to classify people. That doesn't mean you're right when you classify them. That he says, cuss words are just power words. $15. Wow, sounds good. And I can use it when I sweep the vegetable, have doors shut, and without cranking up. I know, but why'd you have to buy a second pair, Red? You literally said, "Got my second pair of earbuds." Why'd you have to buy a second pair of earbuds? What happened to the first pair of earbuds? Did they die on you? And if they did die on you, even if you spent $15, I'd be upset because my logic is I'd rather buy something once, pay a little bit more than have to buy it quickly. Because you got those first set of earbuds less than 2 months ago, 3 months ago. So that's pretty quick. I mean, I've had these earbuds. I've had my last two pairs of earbuds combined 2.5, 3 years. And the first ones I paid $50 for. And these latest ones I only paid $28 for. Good bass on wireless earbuds and 3.5 hours of playback time is uncommon. That's not common. That's hard to do. Typically, more bass means literally more electricity being used. So to still get about 3.5 hours is really good. Ow. I do have my GPD down here with me. I will say fishing in Stardew Valley on the GPD. I don't want to say is easy because that makes it sound cocky, but it really works really good. Oh, the second one is a different brand. Gotcha. I will say the QCY that I have, um, I've seen multiple names on the ones that look exactly the same. Uh, AliExpress is good for that kind of thing. If you can find something that looks exactly the same, you're virtually assured the performance will also be virtually exactly the same. And you almost always pay less, especially if you're okay with waiting a week or 2 or 3 for it to be shipped overseas. And I do like the idea of having 2 sets of mono wireless earbuds because then you literally can go an easy 2 days sometimes and not have to worry about charging anything. That's what I had with my old earbuds. I had 2 pairs of them. Then finally, when one bud completely broke, I just gave the rest of them to my oldest son. He's been using them and swears that they work really good. But I know the ones I have now work even better. Yeah, and the other thing that made me a little bit later tonight was I literally spent at least 20 minutes trying to figure out why on my streaming rig there was extra hiss coming through the audio stack. I still have no idea what did it. I ended up basically just closing every application down and reopening it. I didn't have to log out and log in or reboot or anything. Just close applications and reload applications, and the hits went away. It was one of those things. I'm happy I caught it. It's the kind of preparation that I think a lot of podcasts do not do. Let me check my audio again, make sure the audio is not crazy. Man, that is literally like less than 3 seconds difference from when I'm saying it to when you guys are hearing it. That's awesome. I have not had that happen in for me in a long time. So I gotta remember to change that setting. Yeah, see, that Mark looks a little low. No, I think he's fine. I think he's fine. Okay, so now truncate silence. This is the thing that would typically take 3 to 4 minutes. And the fact it says a minute and a half, this is one of the things that only have to go halfway. So this is literally almost 3 times faster. Already got the doer hardware. Yeah. 30 seconds, it's about 25%. Bang. Dang, I like that. Okay. Outgoing, change to wave. 847 was the old file. Let's see. 840. No, 838 is what I'm gonna say. 838. 838. Yeah, 838. So I'm sticking with. Absolutely. Here we go. Big money, no whammies. I heard they're making that show again. I'm almost afraid to watch that show because I know it can't be the same because the old system was gameable, so they can't do the same thing again. Wow, 757. I was way off. Okay, so delete that. Pull up my lame converter, aka command line. 840. So this should be less than 50 megs, is what I'm going to say. Whereas I could always cheat and come over here and say last episode 49 megs. So I'm going to say this is going to be 43 megs. That's what I'm sticking with. 43 megs. Prove me wrong. Oh wait. I used to use the cheap singles. They didn't last. I'll look this good pair up and send you the link on them. The battery recharge box is a little big. Does it have a lid? It seems like the better portable earbud battery recharging boxes seems like the better ones have lids on them. Mine does not have a lid on it, and I only got to charge the box every 2 days is about when I have to do it. So I'm pretty happy with that. I really wish though my buttons were reprogrammable via an Android app, and they're not. Not the end of the world. It's just one of those things that would be a little bit nicer. Wow, that was really quick. A minute 25. Wow, that was really good. Okay, 51 megs. Wow. Dang, I was way off on that. Okay. Paste it over to here. Always get a progress meter with this one. Good luck, Red. Yeah. The ones with the lids, I swear, are better. I don't know why. Oh, both ears have lids. See, I've only seen lids on a couple different models of them. I almost want to like literally pull out some epoxy and make a lid for the ones I have now. I have sensitive skin, dry skin, the whole shebang. So I have a lot of skin things going on, and I really get upset at when I have skin stuff going everywhere over everything. Yeah, if you can use the audio to get the password, you're a better man than me. Hearing my keyboard. Read and write, read and write. Well, that never happens. Did I not copy that right? Uh, I must not have copied that right. Huh, that's annoying. Okay. Well, that's why I never delete the output folder. I always delete only the input folder. I must have copied it wrong. Let me see where I copied it. Uh, SMB. Public audio raw. Huh. AA40. Oh, that's why. Dang it. 540. 540. Control W. Shut down. Quit. 540. I am able to mess up anything if you give me the opportunity. Control W. Easy tag. Okay, stop. Screen sharing. Come on now. What's up, easy tag? What do I pay you for? Oh, dang it. Started on a different screen. I'm not stupid. Okay, I'm a little bit stupid. 40 dash. Stop screen sharing. Come here. Fix the white balance because wow, that is annoying. Okay, now copy the show name. Alexa, you suck. Okay, Google. Which seems very credible. I have more than a couple people that tell me that they have to constantly repeat things to their Alexa. I'm almost done, Josh. 540. Oop, podcast. 0. Composer. URL. Images. Public. Sort by name. Oh, no, 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 no. That was wrong. We need the high quality. Public image. Yes. FileZilla. Connect. Public episode. AAA. Verify the latest one. 539. 540. Uploading. Now come back to here. Log on to Patreon. Gotta do the video too. Transfer complete. Get out of my face. Something going on with my LastPass. I really gotta get rid of LastPass. It's a question of time, sitting down, setting up the new system, and then figuring it all out. Then configuring on my devices to use this new system. Okay. Okay, so let's go to Badang. Go to YouTube. Copy the description of the video. Didn't post the video yet. Video. Post title. Get the description. Copy the description. Now, hitting processing. Copy, paste. Stop playing the video. Get rid of the ampersand feature, which I hate. Come over to Patreon, paste. Looking good. Patreons only, early access. 6/9. 6/9, 9 o'clock. Bang, bang, bang. Publish now. Take me to my new post. Not really. New post. New audio. Select file. Public audio. 540. Select image. 720. Post title required. Here's where we need the description. Bang. Let's go back here. Stop refresh. Actually, I can come here and say, copy this. Copy the description. Paste. Patreons only, early access. 6/9. 9 o'clock. Publish now. Publish now. Hello. What am I paying you for, Patreon? There you go. Take me to post. 98% of the way there. Podnutz.com. Now let's do this right. HTTPS. Log into the back end. I got to remember, always go to the HTTPS site, not the HTTP site, which it will let me go to. I haven't figured out how to force it to strict HTTPS. Plugin, disable the feature. Go back here, clone 539. Re-enable the feature because everyone else seems to like it. Edit, edit. Dang it. Okay. Yep. Click the URL, click the image, come over here, search for the image, click it. Nearly done. So let's first get rid of all of this. Fix the MP3. Oh, we're close. Come up here, edit the permalink. Copy, paste. Okay, now we need to get this description yet again. Okay. Looking good. I gotta sit here and manually fix all the hyperlinks to be actual hyperlinks. Okay, Josh, I don't know if you're still here. I'm honestly going to guess no, because it's been a little bit of time. If you are here, just pipe up in the IRC chat or the YouTube chat, whatever you're more comfortable with. 540, 540, 540. Publish not immediately. Publish on 6/9 at 20:01. Okay. Schedule. Patreon done. Patreon done. Patreon done. That done. Save. Quit. Close. Quit. Then give me 1 minute and I'll be right back. Because yes, I gotta go to the bathroom again. Because I'm an Irish man with a small bladder. Okay. I am back. There you go. Running low on note power, too much video. 6 to 7 hours of video will kill anything. Main reason to optimize your web page earlier, from Oliver at IOWNkeyword.com. This must be a completely legit email. Oh, wait, delete. Delete. The amount of spam I get on my non-Google accounts is quite annoying. Yeah, I figured Josh wouldn't be able to make it. 11:49. I believe I told him be about an hour, about 40 minutes ago. Yeah, sorry. That sucks. Good to see Swift being busy in there. Check out one email really quick. Garbage. Delete. So much of my email is complete garbage. It literally amazes me how much garbage email I get. But I guess that's completely normal. And I will say the only reason I'm tempted to get Stadia is to give me an excuse why I have to play more games. Because I will say there's more than a couple games out there that really do look like a hell of a lot of fun. that I just can't justify the time I gotta devote in order to play them, especially with stuff like Stardew Valley exists. My Atomic Pi so far is running so good. I laughed at a Hackaday article that a guy posted today talking about how the Atomic Pi was like garbage. It's a $35 Intel single board computer. 35 bucks. What do you want? Unbelievable. Clickbait. Okay, 2.5 hours. I want to see how this comes across. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, that. Now, plug this up. Right? Yep. Okay. Power this up. Let's see how this comes across on the stream. Could be the best thing that ever happened or the worst thing that ever happened. Only one way to find out, you know. Okay. Literally booted up the split second I plugged that in. See, that's not right. HDMI. And why is it so little? We can go like that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We can go like that. Let's see how that looks. Oh yeah, that looks crazy. Um, you guys should be hearing audio. Let me see. Hmm. Let's see if audio comes through. I don't hear any audio. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Audio input. GPD. Okay. Maybe. No, I don't see it. So let me go like this. Settings. HDMI. Yeah. So why is it not capturing or sending any of the audio through HDMI? Let me try this. Yeah, PAV. USB capture. So it is working as USB capture. So recording. Yeah, USB capture. Hmm. I don't know what happened there. Okay, that's not good. Okay. Less settings, apps, or stop. It should have audio. Oh, I'm seeing it now. Why am I not hearing it? Maybe. There you go. Now I'm hearing it. Might be a little bit loud. I don't hear anything again. There you go. Hearing stuff there. Hmm. Okay, so let's go like this. Exit. Load. Yeah, yeah. There you go. I adjust that and it should be better, is the logic. Yeah. Okay, day 10. I'm sorry. I think on YouTube this looks actually damn good. This is the kind of thing I look at and it makes me keep thinking I should do more. Yeah, see, that looks really good. Weather report, sunny all day. I hate that. Right now in the game, I want rain. Mute that. Days in your hands. That's average, mediocre. Queen of sauce. Stir fry. Yeah, we know that. That. Order, order. I have cauliflower. Dang, I got a bunch of stuff. Okay. Take it off that. See, the thing I like about the Android is it's very easy to switch back and forth from gamepad controls to touch controls. While my dog runs in front of me looking for attention. I see how it is, dog. I know, fool. Fill the watering can back up. See, I don't have any sprinklers yet, so I'm honestly not wanting to lay any more crops, even though I have seeds. But I'm going to craft more bars because they're a good source of energy, and put the rest back in there for now. Hmm. And what's the most boring thing in the game for people to watch? Oh, I have an ancient seed. Yeah, I should donate that. I will. I actually have 2 gold. That's amazing. Let's do the most boring thing in the game, which is fish. I don't think there's anything more boring to someone watching this game than watching somebody fish. And I will say on my phone, the, fishing had a touch of a, delay to where if I wasn't watching the screen, it was virtually impossible to catch a fish. Where on my GPD, I do not need to be staring at the screen to catch a fish, which I will say is nice. And like the touchscreen enables for virtually instantaneous zooming with very little effort. Where on every other version of the game, zooming and unzooming is not easy. It's not painless. Okay. This fishing I like because I can just literally sit here and listen, and I know when to hit the button. Of course, I missed that one. Has nothing to do with opening up a beer at all. Okay, well, let's do this in better. I believe I'm a level 4 fisherman on this one. We'll take a peek, a poke, a look as soon as I catch this fish. Hopefully a largemouth bass. What? Wow, I'm level 6. Never mind. I should be catching everything. I guess I should have known I was a higher level just because of how far that my bobber goes out. But I do not understand how I'm not catching things when that happens. I'm absolutely hitting the right button. It seems like I gotta tap the button before the sound even happens. Where I swear before, I could just have the, volume turned up loud enough, I could feel the vibration on the device, and I would know when to hit the button, which is really convenient, like, when I was at Six Flags and all the kids and everything were in the pool, and I was sitting in the shade or close to shade as possible, trying to, just, play Stardew Valley and not get sunburned. And, yes, I like to have blue skin, an afro, and the, 80s Terminator-like sunglasses on my character. I don't know why. I think at the game, I like to be the outcast, or like to feel like the outcast of the town, and not like a normal person in the town. See, this is definitely, I'm gonna say, a largemouth bass, which right now is among the most valuable fish I can catch. There you go. Come on now. And every one of those short casts cost me in stamina, which is not good. I want to make sure I have as much stamina as possible here in the early game and be as efficient as possible with all my stamina. If I had a higher luck day, the bobber would be in the water less idle time, and more of the time when I would hook a fish, it would be a largemouth bass. Also, I would get less perfects. Perfects do give you more XP than just normal catching a fish. Also, higher luck would also give me more treasure chest, which all of them are desirable, is what I'll say. This might be a quiet largemouth bass. There you go, good buddy. I already have 5,000. That's good. Yeah, on this file, I literally spent, I want to say, 2 or 3 days just fishing, literally from first thing in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, 10, 11 o'clock at night. Before you have a glow ring, it's a little bit dangerous to stay out really late night. Big money. Ah, it's a oh, treasure chest. Got like those treasure chests. Big money. Oh man, coal. And yeah, I do have certain keys mapped using the GPD software. So I have the L button over here to my directional, A, B, direct. R1 is up there in the corner for close. R3 is for my not my journal, but my menu button. So there is a certain plus you get to being able to use a gamepad in this game on Android. Where up in the top left hand side, right by my hoe, you see a little picture of a gamepad. I can immediately tap that button and switch back to touch controls, which definitely are beneficial when I'm like watering crops and doing things like that. But with fishing or just doing general movement around the map, it's much easier to do it with gamepad controls. Chubs ain't bad. They're not the best, but they're not bad. It's only 2:40. It's only 3 p.m. and there's no doubt to the viewer this is uncommonly boring. So you just sit there, watch me sit there and wait, and then you just sit there and watch me score more perfects. Ooh, bullhead. No, lower the volume a touch. Good thing is my stamina or energy is almost low already. Good for you guys, not for me. Nothing more annoying than hearing the sound and missing the timing to catching the fish. And you see the bubbles there on the left? If I was smarter, I would cast into them. When you cast into them, you basically immediately get a bite on your lure. That's a carp. Carps are almost like the garbage fish. They're great to use in a recipe like sushi. That was a complete waste of energy. Okay, 440. Catch this oh man. Now let's just go for some foraging, some light foraging, and check out the beach. 5,000. Oh, let's talk to Dimitri. Hey, Dimitri, you're probably growing a lot of interesting plants in the farms. Yeah. I'll buy that for $1, Dimitri. Hey, Robin. Hey there, G Fodder. Yeah, yeah. Hey. I was just daydreaming about some new carpentry projects. I bet you were. That code or something else? I think it is. Back here to the main. This might be the single biggest piece of land screen in Stardew Valley, where the community center is. There might be more than a couple community center things I could finish right now, but I'm so disorganized. I haven't done it, which is okay. Because that's the thing about Stardew Valley. There's no reason to rush anything. Oh, there goes Jody. What did you say? It's 6 p.m. already? My goodness. Wow, you are very astute. I still have tons of work to do. Welcome to my world, Jody. Welcome to my world. Let's go down here before Jody gets there and let's check her trash can because that's what I do. Oh, acorn. I like acorns. Cemetery, Stardew Valley Cemetery. A couple of very important people are buried there. Oh, how you doing there, Abigail? Hey, sorry in advance if I say anything rude. I didn't get much sleep last night. I wonder why. What do you want? Oh, there's a lot. Too many to put into words right now. Let's not go there, Abigail. Oh, I already have the bridge made. I forgot about that. That's good. Get this shell, free money. I like money. See if we have any coral. Oh, we have some stuff over here. Coral, coral. It's not bad. See if we have anything more on this beach. Nothing. See, and most of the time on the game, you're zoomed in to like that amount, which makes artifacts more discoverable, but it makes you harder. Oh, look, Abigail. Abigail, what are you doing? Don't want to say anything. I see how it is. Yeah, she's a little bit weird. She's obsessed with graves, grave markers, stuff like that. And because it's spring in 820, I'm gonna try to go to the woods and see if there's any spring onions available for me to pick, poach. 'Cause you can never have enough spring onions. I love how far out I could zoom. I don't know how easy it is to decipher everything if you watch this on YouTube, but there's certain things where I basically cannot see them. They're so small on the GP. Oh, look at all those spring onions. Double dang, double dang, gimme 'em. There is still a spring onion exploit that I'm not doing because, I'm trying to be honest. Okay, we're gonna take the long way back just to see if there's any forageables for me to pick up. It's gonna get harder and harder to see. It's already 9:50. Without a glow ring, it's gonna be very difficult to see if there are forageables that I can pick up or not. And it looks like nothing that I can see. Dang it. Wednesday, the most boring day in Stardew Valley. Wednesday. Let's go back. Let's put all the fish in the sales bucket. Let's see how high we go. Above 5,100. Uh, fish, 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 fish. We're going to save everything else. Zoom in. Uh, can, coal, garbage, seashell, coral. Okay. Spring onions, leeks, dandelion, acorn. So we can make another field snack. We're not worried about that. Wow, 29 spring onions. That's plenty. That's like a good emergency energy. Granted, it's not a lot of energy, but it's better than nothing. Pet the dog. Pet the dog. I'll fish on you, dog. What's wrong with you? Good night. Full day, Stardew Valley dead. Yeah, this is the wrong season for morel mushrooms, Red. That they're typically in the fall, unless you have the forest farm. Ooh, 1,084. That's a good day this early. I'll take that. And of course, here's the part you got to check out. Beautiful sunny day tomorrow. I hate beautiful sunny days. When I have pigs, I want beautiful sunny days. Spirits are very disappointed. Their best make your life difficult. That sucks. Living off the land. Crows. Let's take a peek outside because you have to. Got mail. Come by the shop, check out new rods. Oh, Willie. Missing. Missing axe quest. That's easy to do. Oh, all the taters are done. That's good. 28. That's not bad. Robin's lost actually. Yeah. I'm gonna quit this now. Okay, time to turn that off. It's already past midnight. That thing about Stardew Valley, it's very easy to pick up and play for, 2 or 3 hours and not realize how much time passed. And I will say on the GPD, it's really smooth, it really plays really good. Remapping the buttons is not perfect. It's not like a console experience, but it is really usable, really playable. Okay, I'm gonna kill the live stream here, guys. Thank you for coming out. Hope you had a good time, Red. I'll talk to everyone later.